Hello, my friend. I have been researching for this video for the past week. I've been trying these products for the past couple of weeks, and I definitely have opinions on the Selfless by Hyram line. But one thing that I've realized recently, probably over the last day or two, is that no matter what I say, people are going to say I'm biased one way or another way. If I go too easy on him, people are gonna say that I'm biased because, you know, I did an interview with him once. If I go too hard on him, people are gonna say I do it for views. Not you, of course, because you know I'm just trying to help you not to buy crap. So what my approach is to this video is I'm just gonna tell you how I genuinely feel about Hyram, about the skincare line in general, and that's all I can do. I'm never gonna make everybody happy, so all I can do is be myself and be honest. So if you want to get into that with me, we're getting into it right now. All right, so, whoa, they just fell out of the box. Before I get started, First thing I want to say is that these products were all purchased by me from Sephora. These were not sent to me by Hyram. I have not talked to Hyram since June of 2020, and we have not communicated, so I was not surprised not to get them in the mail, and that's perfectly fine. I had absolutely no problem purchasing them because I really wanted to review this line. It cannot be denied that Hyram has a huge social presence in the skincare space, not only on YouTube, but on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. And I was so curious to see what he was going to do with the Inky List in order to create products that he believed in. These officially launched 2 weeks ago, which is when I ordered them. I do know that some of the reviews came out much before that because he did send them out early to some people. Hyram and the Inky List launched 5 products. They are all available at the Skincare by Hyram website and also at Sephora, not just in the US, but many countries internationally. So what did he come out with? He came out with the Centella and Green Tea Daily Gel Cleanser. He came out with a day serum that is the salicylic acid and sea kelp. He came out with 2 night serums, the Mandelic Acid and Rice Bran and the Retinol and Rainbow Algae, and then a moisturizer that can be used day or night, and this is the Niacinamide and Maracuja. The cleanser and the Mandelic Acid products are made in Canada. The rest of the products are made in France. The shelf life on these is 6 months, which is important to make note of when you're buying skincare products because sometimes it takes a while, at least for me, to go through skincare. They do say on their FAQ section of their website, though, that they can last for up to 2 years unopened. It is a cruelty-free brand. They are also a vegan brand. They are self-proclaimed cruelty-free, meaning they don't have a leaping bunny, they don't have a PETA bunny, but honestly, like I've said this multiple times, you don't need one of those to be cruelty-free. Really, at this point in skincare and cosmetics in general, all you need is not to sell in mainland China, and they are not being sold in mainland China. They are cruelty-free. I would imagine, though, they'll probably go Leaping Bunny eventually, just because I can see Hyram really wanting to do that. Now, this is where people start having issues with the line, and I really want to talk about this because it is heavy on my heart. 1% of every purchase goes toward a cause. There are 2 main charities that they're donating to. The first one is the Thirst Project. That's the Mandelic Acid Serum and the moisturizer, and then the Rainforest Trust, which helps fight climate change by protecting tropical forests. That's the cleanser, the salicylic acid serum, and the retinol serum. They're also going for mindfully sourced ingredients. They're checking on where their ingredients come from. Okay, we're gonna talk about packaging in a minute, but let's just focus on just that piece. Now, I've seen a lot of people upset about the name Selfless. Now, I have to tell you and be 100% honest, I don't like the name Selfless. I feel like skincare should be your selfish time of the day. It should be the time when you take care of yourself, and taking care of yourself it's an act of, it's not selfishness, but it's self-care. And I feel like Selfless just isn't a great name for a skincare line. I understand where they're coming from as far as they're being selfless in so many things as far as making these products. Now, where I've seen critique about this is that it is greenwashing, that it is, virtue signaling and all of that. And what I want to ask those people, and you have an absolute right to your opinion and what you think, is what is the alternative? What is the other side? If they don't donate to charities, then that means it's all going toward profit. Is that what people want, is for them to 100% profit off of the products and not give to charities? Do they want them to be irresponsibly sourcing ingredients and not thinking about that? Because that's the alternative. And I'm getting heated because it's not just Hyram. It's the whole of our society right now with no way for people to do the right thing. And I'm not necessarily speaking directly to you, just if this applies to you. I don't know what people want from Hyram. I don't get it. I don't know why people are so hard on him. He's not an evil person. Like, there are so many freaking evil people out there, and people are going after Hyram, who's this kid who just wants to do good things for people. Like, he's just, like, it blows my mind how mean and cruel people are, and not taking into account that Hyram is a human being who is just trying to do the best that he can. I'm just frustrated because I don't understand what the alternative is to Hyram being Hyram. And if the alternative would be not caring about the environment, not caring about sourcing ingredients, not caring about giving to reputable charities, I don't want that. I would much rather support a brand that cares about those things. So now let's go into packaging a little bit. Now, I did do a full video on eco-friendly packaging, and we talked about in that video that the best way to take care of our environment is not to over-purchase, not to purchase things that you don't need, because, truth be told, even recyclable packaging isn't always recycled. But one thing about this particular packaging is that it's made from sugarcane. They say the entire production of the packs does not release any more carbon into the atmosphere than it takes out, making them carbon neutral as a minimum. And I've talked about this before. I learned so much when I went down to Cosmoprof in 2019 with my husband when I was thinking about starting my own skincare line. And this packaging is freaking expensive. It may be 2 to 3 times more expensive than a traditional plastic packaging. But they're trying to do something good. They're trying to do something better for the environment. Is there still carbon emissions created from creating any kind of product? Absolutely. And they admit to that on the website. But this is better than the alternative. I just realized how loud my voice is. I've been thinking about this for a week, and it's been building up, and I'm finally getting it out. So I feel like it's coming off way more aggro than I intend. I'm just feeling very passionate right now. Another thing they thought about as far as recycling is that the cap and the base of it, the tube of it, are made from the same kind of plastic. So you can recycle these closed up. They also made sure that the size of it was more likely to be recycled, that once it gets to a smaller size, it really doesn't get recycled. So they made sure that that's what was happening here. They also made sure it was a lighter color because that is more likely to be recycled. The cartons, the boxes that they come in are made with 91% recycled materials and use vegetable-based ink, so these can be recycled easier. I mean, they're trying here. They're trying, and I would much rather see a brand try than not. If you're more of an expert on recycling than I am, I would love to know your thoughts once you see like all the packaging and how it's made, like what you think as far as recycling these things, because I'm in no way an expert. Yes, I did research for a video, but I'm not an expert in that area. I always talk about ease of opening when I talk about products and ease of use for people with motor difficulties. So this cap is very easy to open and close. You do have to be able to push it up. These are twist off tops. But one thing I really love is this little tip here. And there are a couple of reasons. One, it helps you to not have to use a dropper, which is made of multiple materials, not able to be recycled, things like that. You're also not compromising the integrity of the product by pumping air into it. Some different ingredients do not do well when air is pumped into it. There's no light or air getting into the product. The only thing is that with some of them, you really need to follow Hyram's advice. I'm going to put this back on so nothing spills out, and squeeze from the top. It is a little bit difficult to squeeze to get the product out, but you do get the hang of it. At least I did. I was able able to get the hang of it and figure out how hard I needed to squeeze in order to get the product out. And especially with this, I really liked it with the moisturizer because I was able to just like lay it on my hand and put it on. And I love these tips. I hope that more brands start doing them because I find them very easy to use and I enjoy them very much. One more packaging note that I really liked is that he put a little sun and moon on here to tell consumers when to use it, whether it's more of a day product or more of a night product. People with vision difficulties are going to have trouble reading this. It's very small print to know when you're supposed to be using it. So this makes it much more clear for people that do still have vision but can't see this to be able to know when to use their products. And I absolutely loved that touch. I don't know if he did it for people with vision difficulties, but I can see it benefiting people, and also people who are just don't want to take the time to sit and read and figure out if you forget when you're supposed to be using the product. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep this part in, but I did get a comment on my live stream that I did where I talked about that I was going to be reviewing these products, and she made a really good point about me not remembering really the interview that I did with Hyram over a year ago, and I didn't remember it. So I rewatched it, and there was actually a lot of really interesting things in there that I think I know I forgot, but maybe other people forgot as well. So I wanna play you the clip very quickly about why Hyram says that he calls himself a specialist. I know you get a lot of questions about any formal training that you've had, and you list yourself as a skincare specialist. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So the term, I will say it first, the term specialist varies depending on country and depending on state. So it can mean different things depending on where you're located. Here in Hawaii, the specialist is a widely used term, like it's the official title of my position. It's on the contract. It's what I have been as. And to be a specialist, you basically have to work in the industry and have to have a general knowledge and received, some informal training to be labeled a specialist. With me, I specifically did take classes from professionals, estheticians specifically, where I was able to learn some base knowledge. And then from there, I've pursued my own information from chemists, dermatologists, and other estheticians, which is what I continue to rely on today. To be considered a specialist here, it's basically like you just have to work in the skincare industry and have previously received some training and some knowledge. But that does depend on the state. I think in California, you have to be a licensed esthetician. And I don't claim to be an esthetician or dermatologist whatsoever. I'm only a specialist.
The other interesting part that I found were different hints that I don't know if he was talking about doing this line at the time when I interviewed him, but it really does show that he was trying to go this route way back a year ago. So I want to play a couple of clips from the interview that kind of talk about this line before this line was even created. Are there serums that do things that moisturizers just can't do? Like, do you feel like people really need to add serums in along with moisturizers, or is there some kind of variability there?
Yeah, actually. So what I talk about on my channel sometimes is how I believe the perfect skincare routine has 4 steps: cleanser, treatment, moisturizer, and sunscreen. And the treatment, in my opinion, can best be found in a serum. Serums is like my favorite part of the skincare routine, because you're able to see, you're able to see really good results. And depending on what you're struggling with depending on what your skin is struggling with, you can basically use different products to treat those concerns. Simple everyday use will give you the results that you need rather than going in with one really intense thing all at once to get rid of all of that damage that has accumulated.
On your channel, you do kind of the brand reviews, like the truth about.
Yes.
So you have the truth about Drunk Elephant and the truth about this brand, the truth about this brand. So you've gone through so many different brands on your channel. What would you say are some of your absolute favorite brands? So what are some of your favorites?
So I would say, first off, I talk about this brand all the time just because they're the most accessible and the most simple but effective. The Ordinary, I think, and they're just a really ethical brand, which I really like. They're owned by Deciem. And yeah, they just offer really good, very low price, but effective skincare that's not super fancy, that doesn't have 100 ingredients. It just simple does what it's supposed to do. And then one that's starting to become one of my favorites is the Inky List. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They're
Just from
also at
you.
Sephora as well.
You're the
Oh,
only
okay.
person I've heard of them from.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, because they're similar to The Ordinary, but I'd say they offer products that are a little bit more well-rounded, while The Ordinary offers like good serums and treatments that are very minimal. The Inky List has more like moisturizers and cleansers and balms that are a bit more well-rounded in their ingredients, but have a similar philosophy to The Ordinary. So I'd say those are probably all my favorites to where I can like confidently pretty much like any product from any other brands.
The main reason why I wanted to include those clips is because this line is very on brand for Hyram. It is very on brand as far as him wanting to give back. It's very on brand for the ingredients that are in it. And anything else, like we were talking about earlier, anything else would have been off brand, and that's what he would have been criticized for. So really, for some people, there's no way he could have won when it comes to developing products. Let's talk about value a little bit. Now, it is hard to compare the value of these products to other products because the ingredients are so different from a lot of things that are on the market, because they're not quite as basic as like The Ordinary, the basic Inky List products. They're a little more complex than those, but they aren't as complex as some of the more expensive products on the market. A lot of those have things like palm oil and fragrance and all kinds of things that Hyram's doesn't. So I don't think it's a fair comparison. Just, retinol serum to retinol serum. Like it's so much easier to do this with makeup than it is skincare. But that being said, I have seen complaints that these are very small, and I looked at them and I thought the exact same thing. But they are 1 ounce, which is more than some brands do for serums. They do half an ounce, 3/4 of an ounce. These are a full ounce according to the packaging, and it is using minimal packaging. So you may be getting these larger tubes, but they may not be filled up all the way. So please keep that in mind when you're thinking about the size, that it is a full ounce. The moisturizer is also a traditional amount of product at 1.7 ounces, and the cleanser is actually quite large at 5 ounces. And I know some people were thinking that this is very pricey, especially for Hyram and the Inky List, thinking these were very high. But again, I want to talk about why these are probably so high. We already talked about the cost of this packaging is obnoxious. It's very expensive. And then think about how time-consuming and expensive it must be to track ingredient sources. You don't have very inexpensive options for your ingredients when you care so much about the tracking of it. And being honest, they're also paying Hyram. Hyram has to make a profit, the Inky List has to make a profit, and they have to be able to purchase all of the things that make this very expensive, plus they're also donating. So in that is the cost. So our option as consumers is to decide what is important to us. Is it important that we use packaging like this? Is it important the tracking of ingredients? If it is, then this is gonna seem like a very reasonable price point. If that stuff is not important, of course, you could probably find things cheaper that you like just as much. All right, ingredient analysis. Usually I go very deep into the ingredients, but because of this line and who it was made by, there have been very many professionals in the field. I will link their videos down below. They go over the ingredients from a professional standpoint. I feel like they did such an amazing job. So what I want to do just as a summary is just talk about the claims of each product, put the ingredients up that back up those claims, and just kind of talk about that. I think Hyram knew that his friends and other people in the industry were going to pick apart the ingredient list, and the claims that are on each product really are backed up by the ingredients. Let's start with the retinol and rainbow algae repair serum. They say that it targets hyperpigmentation, notably post-acne marks, providing a more even skin tone, smoother, brighter complexion, hydrating, suitable for all skin types, best for acne or hyperpigmentation prone skin. Now, we talked about last week when I talked about skincare marketing that suitable for all skin types is really a marketing term. Yeah, it's suitable for all skin types, but it doesn't mean you need it. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about who I think this would be best for when I get to the full review. The salicylic acid and kelp pore cleansing oil control serum, they say it is breakout busting, oil control, reduces oiliness, unclogs pores, helps reduce bacteria to prevent breakouts, helps protect from pollutant stress, aids barrier repair, prevents hydration loss, and again, best for oily and breakout prone skin. One thing I want to note is that a lot of these products, including this one, include niacinamide. Now, niacinamide is an ingredient that does many things for many people. It may help soften fine lines and wrinkles. It can help with hyperpigmentation. It might help with acne and large pores. It also can help with transepidermal water loss and keeping moisture in your skin. But I do know that some people in my audience have difficulty with niacinamide in that it causes a flushing of the skin. Most of these products have niacinamide, so just be aware of that. Speaking of that, let's talk about the niacinamide and maracuja daily barrier support moisturizer. They say that it's barrier strengthening, skin soothing, supports skin health, even skin tone, hydrates the skin, and then we'll talk more about the gel cream that sinks into the skin and leaves a silky finish without silicone, because there is no silicone in any of these products, and that it's lightweight enough for oily skin, yet rich in hydrating and soothing ingredients for dry skin. Again, we'll get into it in the full review. The centella and green tea hydrating cleanser, it cleanses the skin without drying, and the cleansers that are in here are more gentle cleansers. They're the ones that you might see in baby shampoo and baby wash products, that it's hydrating, that it leaves the skin feeling refreshed, clean, and makeup free, and that it's best for all skin types. I would say this is probably the only product that I feel like is best for all skin types. But I do have a gripe with this. We'll talk about it. And then finally, the mandelic acid and rice bran gentle exfoliating serum, that it gently exfoliates without irritation. It gives an even skin texture and promotes a smoother appearance, helps skin appear brighter, helps prevent clogging of pores, and again, great for all skin types. I disagree. I don't think this is going to be great for all skin types, but again, we'll talk about it. And when are we going to talk about it, Jen? Stop saying we're going to talk about it. We're talking about it right now. So one thing Hyram said is don't use any of these products around the eyes, and I think this is a good example of that. Let me say the positives first. I like how gentle this is. It is definitely a gentle cleanser. For me, it did not give a lot of foam. I know people were saying that it was very foamy. For me, that didn't happen, and I don't know why. It does say in the advertising that this can remove makeup. There also were some other reviewers that said that it removed their basic makeup, mascara, just basic, sunscreen, things like that. I had a full face of makeup on, and this did not make a dent in it. I need an oil-based cleanser. This is a second cleanse for me, especially because after I tried to use it as a makeup remover and went like this on my eyes and my lashes like a dew, stung the crap out of my eyes, because it doesn't seem to be happening to anybody else because I have dry eyes. Maybe that's why it stung me and not other people. My eyes are very sensitive to smoke. Like if I'm around a campfire or, a grill, I can't be around it unless I have my contact lenses in. My eyes are more sensitive to burning, I think, than someone who doesn't have those difficulties. So maybe that's why it stung my eyes. So this is going to be a very gentle second cleanse for me. I am going to keep this. I do really like it. It's not a makeup remover for me. It's going to be my second cleanse, 100%. The other product that I am going to keep for me, the rest I'm going to pass on, is the retinol and rainbow algae. I don't know if this is going to do what I need a retinol to do. There really doesn't seem to be a lot of retinol in this, and I know Dr. Dre said that doesn't necessarily, there are lots of factors when it comes to formulating with a retinol, but I personally feel like I have more confidence in my Sunday Riley and my more powerful retinols. So this is going to be something that I may use, in between retinol products, or maybe I'll use my Sunday Riley one day and I'll use this another day in the week for a retinol, when I'm kind of in between using my Sunday Riley, because I only use that one day a week. I do like the glycerin and the squalane in here, which are nice skin balancing, hydrating ingredients. So I also love this as a serum that way. Looking back, would I repurchase this? Probably not, but I'm definitely going to use it up. I think it's a good product for my skin. I would recommend this more more for acne prone skin and people trying to fade the hyperpigmentation due to acne, because that's who this is meant for. That's who this is recommended for. I know that there is a market for this and people that this will fit much better than it does me. And speaking of not fitting me, these right here. And I knew, honestly, I knew when I purchased them, they probably weren't going to fit me because they really are for oily, acne-prone skin. So these are going to my oldest child. I'm going to give those to her. She is going to be able to use them and love them, and hopefully they will work very well for her. So they are not going to go to waste. But let's talk about just the experience of using them. They are both almost water-like consistencies, which isn't really my favorite. I like something with a little more oomph, a little more, you know, substance to them because I find them to be easier to apply. With both of these products, I had trouble spreading them over my entire face with the recommended amount. I felt like it barely covered my face, and I don't have that big of a face. Hyram seemed to say in his video that it was important to use the recommended amount because you could get skin sensitivity if you use too much of it. I also noticed that if I used too much of these, that it made the moisturizer extra sticky. So that was a thing as well. They are more gentle chemical exfoliators for oily and acne prone skin. That's who I believe Hyram formulated this for, is for teenagers and young adults like him who have his skin type, which I don't hate. And finally, let's talk about the moisturizer. I'm very tactile. I don't like any kind of stick on my face, and this leaves my face feeling sticky. It feels especially sticky, like I said a minute ago, topped over these products. I don't like when I lay down on my pillow that my face may stick to my pillowcase. I do not like that. It is a serious no-go. And recently I stopped using a day moisturizer and just started using sunscreen as my day moisturizer. I find that to be better for my personal skincare routine, so I don't really have a use for this as a day moisturizer. I don't really have use for it as a night moisturizer. So again, this will probably end up going to my daughter, and hopefully she ends up loving it and getting some good use out of it. So just as a final note on these products from a personal level, what it comes down to is the goal of this video was for me to do what I've always done since day one of this channel, which is to really pay attention while I'm trying the products, really figure out what I personally think about them, do my research in order to help you know whether these products are right for you or not. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you so very much. At this point, my friend, it is your turn in the collective brain of Makeup Awesomeness, where we help each other not to buy crap and buy things that are totally worth it. I would love to know your thoughts on these products, things I said, things you heard from other people, things that you've experienced if you've purchased the products. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments down below. Thank you again so much for watching. If you'd like to watch another one of my videos, YouTube should be recommending a couple for you right over here to watch. But if it is your time to go, it is absolutely no problem at all. Thank you so much for hanging out as long as you did. And mad love to you. And I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye!